NCRP Productions presents Torg Eternity by Ulisses Spiele. The Breifne Crown. Episode 29.
All right, and welcome back. So, last session, can someone give us a recap of what happened and catch us up? 1, 2, 3, not it.
All right.
Let's go, Aaron.
I'll start it off.
For the listeners, Dan was going to be the one who was going to have to do it.
Nose goes rules.
So I was kidnapped, basically, through knockout gas, and Professor Graves is in the hotel by himself at that point. But then he made his way to Mustafa's. The team came together and kind of agreed that they should go and try to find the Mossad hideout and see if they can enlist their help.
Dawn of Delight.
When they make their way down the alleyway, they came across some gunfire.
We were attacked.
Directly at them.
Yep, we were openly attacked.
Openly attacked and blamed for Dawn of Delight's death.
Which we didn't know up to that point.
But there had been a sniper shot when we were leaving initially that nobody else remembered.
Besides you.
Except for me.
Yeah.
But it definitely happened.
It's that big elven brain.
And it was validated.
And it was validated by a possibility coin.
So the combat went pretty bad there for a moment. When they had exited that combat, they decided they would go to the kitten and attempt to infiltrate it.
That was the thought.
Yeah, that was the thought.
That
It went swimmingly.
They terrorized a poor little girl and her mother. Just ruined their entire... I'm sure there's trauma there.
I brought my zombie along.
You brought Mustafa.
Yeah, we brought
Thanks
Mustafa.
for that. I appreciate
You
it.
haven't seen... You
I
didn't
know.
see it.
I didn't see it, but I know that he was my friend. Well, he was, because you had him attack someone in the back, which brought the police.
Mustafa died again.
Yeah, and Mustafa was then promptly dispatched a second time.
Well, didn't he kill someone?
He killed
Before-
the cook.
He killed the cook.
Yeah, he killed a cook.
I gave him orders to kill the next person that came out.
So he was helpful to an extent.
exactly.
My
If
man.
you want to consider killing a cook helpful,
Well, I mean, now,
It was a
Cook
distraction.
Steven
that
Seagal.
might be a bit of a
It was a good distraction.
It was a very good distraction.
So it was still helpful.
And I believe you guys had found, after some searching within, you found an elevator to go down to
Yep,
the
from
basement.
from his hidden second floor, we
Yeah,
took that
from-
elevator down.
Yep. Which then led to the pre-recorded scene we had before, basically, of me hanging in a cage above a pool of sharks and crocodiles.
And that's what started this whole adventure, was
Yeah.
that pre-scene.
Which, absolutely epic, you were able to make that work.
That definitely was you guys helping too. So.
But the fight was kind of wild, if I remember correctly, so someone's going to have to help me with that.
pretty crazy.
It was
Yes.
all over the place.
It was quite all over
the way you
place.
got me out of the cage was just insane.
Absolutely 100% should not have worked.
No, should not.
Well,
It was
it ended with you in the cage basically getting ready to go over, and me leaping from the second floor down to the ground, off the aquarium, and then hitting the cage to bring you to safety.
Yeah.
You're forgetting about the professor's assistance as well.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
Wild leap
I'm trying to draw you
cage.
into the conversation here, Dan.
like it was.
It was a group effort.
It was a group
Yes.
effort of damaging the lock and the chain, and someone swinging on it like a monkey, so it swung over the lip of the tank and then crashed somewhere.
Oh, it
Right.
crashed on the ledge.
The
The ledge where
Yeah.
the
Spectre,
the
yeah.
Spectre, who
Yeah.
was actually Professor Esparte's.
And he had a mind control ray cane, and
Yes.
then for whatever reason, Professor Graves decides to bust out in the middle of nowhere that he's got mind control.
right.
Well,
He
I
could have
have
used
used it
way-
before.
We just didn't know.
Before. Yeah. Yes. That's
Yeah,
that's
we
correct.
didn't
You
know.
did not.
Yeah,
No.
and you commanded him to drop the cane and then jump into the pool of sharks and crocodiles.
I honestly didn't think it would work.
It did.
It totally did.
Somehow it did.
It's the Nile Empire.
It's the Nile and it was kind of funny because thinking about it, I was like at first a little anticlimactic, but then it fit so well within the game that, such a brutal fight that you guys may not have won, have you slug it out, and then just this backdoor way of, defeating...
Just this weird, odd sort of way it ended.
Yeah, so it actually totally fit.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it later, and I was like, if he had to see why he died, that would be the most insulting way for him to die.
Right? It would, for him, definitely.
Through the annals of history.
Yes.
But we did get his cane or staff, and
And the
within
shard.
it,
That
within
does
it, there
remind
was
me.
the
We
shard.
should experiment with that staff a bit.
Well, that's coming
See
up
what
in
it can
game.
do.
That will become up potentially in game.
Yeah.
And that got us an exfil from the Nile. And we fly back to Tripoli, where Jones meets with us and gives us, we go through the sit rep. We eat, sleep, meet with Jones the next morning, and we have our next consideration. Rishiri Prison on Rishiri Island, where there is the crown jewel, although I didn't write down what I knew about that.
So
Why do we know it's a crown jewel?
the research that the Delphi Council analysts have found is the only thing on Rishiri Island is Rishiri Prison, a newly opened prison that has been dubbed the crown jewel
That's
of
why.
rehabilitation.
And we are supposed to go there, and the only way the Delphi Council can get us in is as prisoners.
Well, they determined that a frontal assault is not going to be
Successful.
a viable option because of such tight security. It would, end up reducing the prison to rubble. And one, that would be an open declaration of war on Japan and the Pan-Pacific Alliance. And two, don't know. You need to go and find the Breifne shard that's located there. So that's
The shard is supposed to be in the prison? Or
according-
somewhere on the island? Or
So, according to the map that was found in Tharcold, there were 6 locations marked. And the one that was marked in Southeast Asia was Rishiri Island.
And then on the island, we got the information, I believe it was from Aspartes, that jewels are found in crowns.
The shards are
Right,
somehow
the shard.
related to
Shards are
crowns.
related to crowns in some way. So now we've always been focused on looking for crowns.
so
And the
that's
fact
why
that
we think it's the
Right.
prison, because it's
somebody said it's the
referred to
crown
as
jewel and
crown
it's on
jewel.
Rishiri Island.
Also
Rehabilitation.
speaking of
Got
that,
it.
he mentioned that it seems like it's where there's a reality wash of 2 different cosm axioms.
Was that right, or did we've noticed that that's
Well-
been happening?
And
So-
that's kind of my point is because at the Nile, at King Manos's, there was none. That was not there, but that's where the shard had been.
So, out of character,
Okay.
it's not the words that Aspartes used was a reality wash, meaning like there was some type of reality change, reality transition that kind of swirled up in an area, not necessarily a reality clash.
Okay.
And that would be where 2 realities are.
Gotcha.
And we've noticed in a number of cases it's because of connecting to Lady Nightbird.
That's true.
Because the washes have been Isle and whatever to
Yeah.
get her there.
That's a good point.
So
But-
that's where we're at. I think we're in the meeting, or we're going to the meeting.
So at this point, it is now out of character. Did the group decide? In game, the group decided that Rishiri was the next destination.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, the briefing has been concluded, and Delphi Council is arranging for transportation and arranging for the next step in the process. Is there anything that you guys are doing except trying to recover?
Just that. I think we all took a beating last
Took
time.
our licks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would actually like to take a second to talk to Max. And if you have the time, of course.
Absolutely.
I see that you...
And you're currently Ufa?
I'm Ufa right now.
Okay.
I'm not the Jackal.
That's why I was asking.
Yes.
Yes, my friend Ufa, what can I do for you?
So in my experience, you tend to run into the fray to be the first one in.
Yes,
You're
I-
up there by yourself, normally.
That's often what happens. But
Yes.
to make certain that the group is safe, that's my job since I'm no longer the leader.
So would you be able to show me a few things through For instance, unarmed combat or something.
Physical defensive tactics?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come with me.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. I'm just wondering if maybe we could spar for a little bit, just so we can get a good idea of what we can do.
And see where you're at. Absolutely. Come with me.
All right.
And we'll go down to the sparring gym until we're called up.
Sounds good. So, yeah, you guys definitely head down to the gym and just...
Throw each other around.
Well, and then, like, Max's style of training is not...
Yeah.
is not friendly.
Mine is if you can dodge a wrench.
I love it. That's the kind of training you need.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how they go in Darkhold.
No, dial it back 20%.
No, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm sure at some point I would take a wound.
Probably.
Probably. And I would turn into the jackal, and at that moment I would kind of like pause the fight and tell you when we were fighting the Minotaur.
Yes.
I shot you, and seeing out I feel terrible about that. And I'm going to make a point to not shoot into combat.
I think that's a wise choice. I assumed when you took the shot that maybe it was out of desperation. That Minotaur fight was something far beyond anything we've really dealt with.
Exactly.
So we avoided the same style of fight in Darkhold when we avoided fighting the demons. Most of us at the time.
Yeah, and it was desperation, but I think in the future, if we find ourselves as a team fighting something, I'm going to join you in the melee.
Jackal, if I remember correctly, when you are in your form, you remember what your other form knows. It just doesn't go the opposite way.
There are things that bleed into his memory.
So if he trains with me, you shall be better as well.
I will.
Good.
And I also want you to know, and I'll speak with everybody else about this, that I may have made somewhat selfish decisions while we were in the Nile Empire for the benefit of myself and my own mission, and that will not be happening.
In regards to the Spectre, I assume.
Yes.
I understand that single-mindedness, we've seen it before. As a group, we've seen it before, and I'm sure each of us on our own time have had that as well. But with the Spectre vanquished, I think you will make an excellent member of the team.
And I plan to be. So in the future, when we find ourselves in melee, I'm going to do what I can to hold them down for you. Or
Excellent.
Give you an opportunity. I think that would probably be the best use of my skills
I
in
think
melee.
using pairing techniques would be wonderful. Let's work on some now.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so while you guys are down in the gym sparring, anybody else doing anything?
The professor would like to study the staff that that we took from the Spectre.
Okay.
Could you also study my bow?
Sure. Well, I don't think if it's a magical bow, I'm not sure if I could do anything with it. The staff is a weird science object. Is that correct?
From what you have looked at and from what you've learned from the Spectre, he was good at weird science, but not a master or at that master, head of the collegiate level as Professor Graves is.
Okay. So, with permission from the Delphi Council, if they will lend me a shard that I can put in this thing and test it, they do that? So with their presence there, obviously, if
so when you speak
necessary.
to Jones about that, so he's quiet for a moment and he says, "We do need to understand what that potentiality does. Forgive my skepticism, Professor, but you're new to the team. With myself present and Azrael, we can go ahead and
of course
bring in the shard that Aspartes used to."
I would also like perhaps a second shard. I would like to see if the powers of the staff change depending upon the shard.
We don't have the shards. We don't
You
travel
only
with
have
them.
the one shard there. Okay, that's
The others
good
that
enough.
we've recovered are under heavy security.
Good enough. So we'll take the shard.
So he summons Azrael.
Okay.
So Azrael, your new team member, is wanting to attempt to determine what the shard can do with the staff, but since he is a new team member, I request your presence as well as mine while he's conducting his research.
Sounds good to me.
So he meets you in basically like a cleared out hangar to give you some space.
Sure.
And he is carrying this just a small leather briefcase. And so when he sets up on a table, set up against the wall, so just slides it open, and inside a velvet sleeve is the Breifne shard. So he opens it up, pulls it out. Professor.
Thank you. And I'll pop open the staff, slide the shard in, close it up,
Shoot. And so
and just start experimenting with the staff and see what we can do with it.
go ahead and make a weird science roll.
15.
15. You find where you believe that it should have been activated, and when you go to activate it, nothing's happening.
Interesting. Can I tell why? Is there another, perhaps it's not an entirely made of weird science, perhaps there's some other aspect to it.
Not without deconstructing it.
So I'd have to take it apart.
Yes.
I guess we start taking it apart then.
So you see the professor reach into pull out his tool bag, put the goggles, or the magnifying goggles over his eyes, and make another weird science roll.
Come on. 23.
So you are absolutely 100% believe that you have deconstructed it, could reconstruct it, and as you do so, you've spotted, or you believe from what you've seen, the power up where the mind was, the mind ray was activated, where some of the powers that he used against you, but what you're not seeing is any type of way to power those features that were present in the staff. The only thing that you can see that could potentially power, because the way that the circuitry is run, is connected to the slot where the Breifne shard would go into.
Huh. And that slot then isn't weird science, it's something else?
That slot is something else. The circuitry leading from the slot, so think of it like a battery. So when you put a
Right.
battery in,
Right.
then all the circuits that run from the battery power up the object. So the Breifne shard would be the battery. But for you,
Somehow there's a connection between the shard and the weird science that isn't weird science. So there's something else in there.
there's something else in there, and that you cannot figure out.
I will show it to Azrael and see if maybe it's magic.
So he explains to you that there's, what his theory is, that perhaps magic is what needs to activate the shard and the staff when they're combined. So you have to, so you show it, but you have to, reconnect it too. So you'd end up having to reconnect the staff.
Yes.
You made such a good roll though that you can do that easily.
What are all these screws for?
Wait,
I'm missing one.
There's 4 left.
Extra. It'll be fine.
Clearly, they weren't necessary.
Always have redundancies.
Yeah, exactly.
So Professor Graves reconstructs the staff, inserts the Breifne shard, and hands it to you.
I'll take it, and I'm going to point in a safe direction.
Downrange.
I'll point out
Downrange.
everything that I think, okay, this is the trigger, this should trigger it, and then I back up.
And all, unsure of exactly how to make it go.
So he shows you where that it should have been activated. And when you go and depress basically the activation button, absolutely nothing. It doesn't hum, doesn't come to life. There's no magical connection as you're reaching out with the arcane to try to feel it. Absolutely nothing there.
So no magic at all?
I
You don't
can't
feel
feel
any?
anything.
So it's not magic, and it's not weird science. There's something else that's connecting it.
Something else.
What else is there?
There
I'm
are
not
people
there,
from other
so-
cosms around.
And I'm not there, so
Not
I can't
there.
say anything.
I would find it difficult to believe it would be psionics, since psionics aren't really a Nile. There are no psionists from the Nile Empire.
I mean, there could be.
Jones is there too, and so he's
Can you think of anything?
There are other magic users.
perhaps Aspartes was a renowned expert in reality. And we know that eternity shards, which we believe the Breifne shard is related or holds possibility energy.
I see.
Perhaps somebody with a profound reality knowledge might be able to gain more from it.
Not my specialty, but can I at least take a look at it with that sort of bent, take a reality look at it?
Roll reality.
You can always roll well. You never know.
You can add since you're there. Yeah.
Add one.
13.
So it'd be, is that the plus one?
That's with everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not your area of expertise.
Is there anybody else in the group that
Can I
is?
try rolling reality?
You added to his,
Okay,
so
okay.
between the two of you, you guys can't figure it
You've
out.
exhausted your knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see if I can call in the rest of the group. Maybe together we can figure this out.
So it takes maybe about 30 minutes to track everyone down, but you guys get a summons that the weird scientist is
Grab a
looking for
towel.
both of you.
Don't bother putting my shirt back on. Head up.
I'm all bloodied. I am a black guy, but I'm wearing the mask. You can totally tell that it's been dented.
Explain everything that's going on, and we think that this is, if you don't remember, this is Professor Astartes, or the Spectre's staff, and we think that perhaps there's some sort of reality needed to activate the staff. So we're trying to activate the staff. Does anyone here an expert in reality?
I wouldn't say an expert. I have traveled potentially more than any of you. I've traveled with Jones a few times.
Out of character, who has the best reality?
I have an 11.
Me too.
I also have an 11.
Yeah, 11.
11 seems to be pretty difficult.
My concern would be, what if the power is driven by the mind of Aspartes or the Spectre himself? What if his knowledge and his control was able to breach it in the way that so many of the things we have happen in one realm and not in another? It wouldn't just take necessarily someone with a knowledge, it would take somebody with a skill in it, much like the High Lords themselves, which means that this is not something we want to put in their hands. But possibly to bridge that circuit requires some force. Out of game, none of the characters would know about the darkness machines or any of that stuff. That is a massive step up from player character knowledge, correct?
Correct. The characters have not been introduced to
We
that.
just know that the High Lords wield possibility.
Yes.
Okay.
How they do so.
Right. So possibly somebody who has that strength or that power, maybe he was looking to take over where Mobius was. Remember how disconnected he was disconnected and concerned he was of Mobius when we were there?
May I hold the...
Absolutely.
So I'm going to cast Foresight on it. The spellcaster thinks of a person, item, area, or course of action and receives an indication about the situation. On a success, the diviner may look at the top card of the drama deck and then return it to the top of the deck. At the GM's option, she may also give the diviner a vision of a possible future.
Awesome.
This is one of my new cantrips.
Nice.
So a 15 and the DN is 10.
So that's a good success.
Yeah.
So what you get is you feel some of Aspartes' excitement of obtaining a shard, but not. He wasn't excited about the Breifne Crown. He was excited about the individual shards.
Okay. So I relay that so I'm getting a sense of Aspartes' excitement over the shards.
And if you remember correctly, when you spoke with him, he asked to see the shards and not the crown.
Even though he gave us the information about crowns.
Yes.
So Aspartes seemed to be much more interested in the shards themselves rather than the crown.
Maybe placement of each shard affects his staff differently.
I suggested that, and unfortunately they don't have any of the other shards here.
My hope, Jones, is that they are safely guarded in a undisclosed location.
That is absolutely the case.
They are far too powerful, even singularly, even though they appear inert. They're far too powerful singly to be left out.
And from what you have reported, once the crown has been reassembled, it's a mighty weapon.
Even if it's not, the chance that potentially either Lady Nightbird or Yavich were to get them, we could be in a world of hurt.
But this is the shard that came from this staff,
Right.
correct?
So I wonder, and I've been thinking about this, I wonder if we did not open up the possibility in his mind of where the shard was. He was the one who directed us to Minos's tomb, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe
But
so.
he may not have known about it until then, which means potentially he may have gotten it just before us and utilized it to create his weapon.
Which makes sense with what we found once we were at the...
Agreed.
And, yeah, once we were at the tomb.
What do we know about the shards? Have they been studied? Do we know? Are they magical? Are they?
They're inert.
They're
Right,
inert?
right,
This is
Jones.
the
Everything we've learned has been they're inert.
We know that everything, what we know about Eternity Shards is each Eternity Shard contains some type of possibility energy that can be harnessed, such as your bow. What we don't know, though, is why these shards themselves, as individuals, have not provided any of that possibility energy. With the sole exception that the Lady of the Lake said it needed to be blessed after the crown was reassembled.
But somehow the Spectre, Professor Astartes, found out a way to tap the power of a shard.
Of this specific
shard.
one.
Esparte somehow learned to harness the power of that shard, from what I'm hearing you explain, to power his cane.
So maybe there's something in the receptacle. We know, at least I say we know, I should back up. We believe, based on what the Lady of the Lake said, that once all of the Eternity Shards are placed into the crown and it's blessed, it becomes a conduit or a vehicle to do something greater. We don't know what. What if Aspartes had figured out how to create a conduit for a single shard? I mean, based on the configuration that I've seen, it doesn't look like anything else would fit in there.
Right.
It does-
I dismantled the staff, and I couldn't figure out how he could have possibly done that.
I again believe we go back to the thought that maybe it's something he has. Each of you has an ability. May I suggest one more thing that's been bothering me all through our sparring? You are Professor Graves. When you turn into your alter ego, Professor Anubis, there seems to be a clash. What about possibly taking on the moniker Dr. Anubis? It's a thought. Anyway,
I'll consider.
Anyway, every
You
time
can pick whatever name you want. You don't have to be Professor Anubis. I just came up with it on the spot. 'Cause
oh, so it's new. I apologize. I thought I understood that it was your moniker.
It is now.
Very good. But it's possible that each of you has abilities that come to you in some guise from the realm that you're
I
from.
see what you're saying.
What if his...
I am not like the Jackal. I do not change abilities. Regardless
Everything
of
you
whether
have,
I
you
am
have.
Professor Graves or Dr. Anubis, my abilities remain the same.
Well, that's good, because when he's not the Jackal, right, no disrespect to your alter ego, there's less. But what if...
That's right.
What if the ability the Dr. Aspartes had
He
was
has
to
some
make the conduit jump?
previously unknown power, or currently unknown power, that only he managed to learn. That
Which
is a
Did you-
possibility.
No reality for me.
I was gonna...
I will say that for all his faults, Astartes was the preeminent expert on reality.
And we knew him as such as well.
Yeah.
We were directed to him for that reason. So what if that is his ability? He seemed to have an interest when we spoke. He seemed to have an interest in all the shards, but he never once asked of the crown. So he was not looking at the conduit. He was looking at the components. The receptacle was unimportant to him.
Can
the
you
shard-
refresh my memory, Max? Every time that we've gotten a shard, have we waited to exit the realm before we looked at it?
I
That is
believe
an
you are
Because
interesting
correct.
suggestion.
every time we look at the shards, it's when we're escaped and we're not in the realm the shard came from.
I
So do they
wonder
become
if-
inert?
The
I do believe-
shard would be more accessible if it was within its own cosm. If we were in the Nile Empire with this shard, I wonder if
It would then
It would work.
affect.
I believe that when we...
That's a great thought.
when
Yes,
we
I
tried
am.
to when we tried to see if a shard would work on my bow, I thought we were within...
But we were not in an Eilish place.
Right,
We
so
made. I
it-
believe we made a touch connection with the Nile crystal, but I believe it was after.
Out of character, It was a mixed zone of Eilish and Living Lands when you recovered that shard and you had your bow.
Right.
But did we mess with it there in
which
the
shard
mixed?
was it? What,
It
from
was-
which cosm?
Living Lands.
Living Lands.
Okay,
Not,
so-
and that was my next thing was, because we've got, the staff has worked with a Nile shard
In the Nile
in the
Empire.
Nile Empire.
And we don't
And
know, actually, if
Let
these
me finish my
shards-
talking!
I apologize.
So, when we have an Eilish shard, I wonder if we tried to put the Eilish shard to my Eilish bow, if that would have an effect. And possibly we may need to be within the Eilish.
Within the Eilish.
Eilish cosm. However, starting out, maybe we could try putting an Eilish shard to an Eilish bow to see if that affects it. I was also going to see, within the staff, does the staff have red and blue stripes like my bow does?
It does not.
No.
None of the shards have.
The Breifne shards are
Are all red and blue?
red and blue.
I'm-
So like an Eternity shard. But the Spectre's cane is not.
Oh, I apologize. I thought you were asking if the shard was that. You're saying
No,
was
the
the
staff.
cane like
Yes.
Yeah.
Does the staff have red and blue like my bow has red and blue within it?
Right, so the risers on your bow are definitely red and blue, the colors of the Eternity shards. But you've also, you've spent plenty of time inspecting and looking and going over it. There's no place to connect a shard to it.
Got it. It just has some, it clearly has some reality-based stuff within it.
Are you sure there's nowhere to connect a shard? Because it doesn't appear, or the staff can connect a shard, and it has basically a secret compartment. Have you studied the bow to see if there's...
I think that's what he's saying is that because I have studied, I've looked
yeah.
at it
Okay.
a lot. And he's saying there's nothing there.
The shards, to my knowledge, the ones we've seen, they look identical.
Yes.
If we were to put them all into a single case, we would not be able to pick one out and define where it is. So I again speculate that the Spectre had, as part of his ability, the ability to draw from a shard to power that cane.
Interesting.
Or a focus.
I would love to get a hold of his research.
Maybe we can go back. I think Rishiri Island and closing these as fast as possible is our biggest thing.
Yeah.
I'm not certain if we've completely caught you up, but we fight against time, against a great sorceress from Iara's
Right.
realm,
You mentioned
in
her.
combination with a very
A
powerful demon.
Yes.
Joan steps in and says, if you're requesting that we retrieve the data, we can attempt to send in another team to do that, but your primary objective is to locate the next crown shard.
Understood. Could I leave my, because we were going to be going in without any gear anyways, could I leave my bow for your people to inspect along with the shards?
Of course. Of course.
I will do so.
Can I leave my reflect armor here so it doesn't get confiscated?
Absolutely. Any equipment that you are not willing to permanently lose, you all by means can leave.
Well, I'm
Pretty much all of it, I guess.
almost
Yeah.
ready. I probably should get a shirt. I'll be back.
Please.
And I take off a scarab medallion off my neck and I hand it over. The unfortunate thing is that I won't be able to stop wounds without this. But I don't think that I'll be able to keep it.
You would probably have to give it up. If prisons are run in this realm as they are in mine, nothing will be left to you.
Yeah.
And what about the mask?
I suppose the mask as well, but that'll have to wait. As you can see, and I try to pull on it, it doesn't come off.
Without it in your possession, is Ufa simply Ufa?
What happens if Ufa gets injured?
Ufa's
And you don't have the
always
mask.
had this mask.
There
I'm
are-
interested to see what would happen.
I will not make the suggestion lightly, but there are orifices upon the body that a small item can be brought into a prison without being seen. We've done this with small
Are
communicators
you
in my
offering
realm.
to smuggle it in?
No,
for
I am
him?
not.
Perhaps the scarab, but I don't know if that's going to fit.
I'm thinking Pulp Fiction. So
Right,
I
well-
wore this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass for 2 years.
That's why I didn't suggest it on the scarab. But if the mask is a requirement to mask, I thought the mask appeared once the wound was there, but it needs to be on your person. It's the focus.
I would then put it on, yes.
Yeah.
There's no out of character, there's no perk that directly ties to the mask.
Okay.
There is a perk that directly ties to the scarab necklace.
Okay.
But I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen here.
So what about the Daredevil idea where once you change, you tear a shred off of your arm, and the cloak that you create becomes the mask or something like that? Does the mask need to be that mask?
It technically it is a piece of equipment that you purchase.
Oh, is it?
It
Okay.
is a weird
All right.
science item. Yes.
So that would be
Luckily,
my suggestion as far as
I
bringing
have a
it
weird
in.
scientist with me.
Perhaps I could construct a mask for
Perhaps.
you when the time comes.
And
Yes.
yeah, we could certainly try to do something like that. I think that'd be okay. I'll have to heal first before I can give you this mask. And the 1911s, and I don't think I'll have them on me, actually, because we were sparring. So, yeah, anything else in my room, you'll just please keep for safekeeping.
So, absolutely, but I do need to let you know that initially where we plan on inserting you is going to be in Taiwan. Taiwan is still known worldwide to be under the effects of the contagion. So you may need weapons. We can supply weapons, or you can bring your own, but I can't guarantee that we won't be putting you into a potential fight.
So are we to get ourselves into the prison?
So we are working on an asset to be able to lead you in. That's one of the things that we're finalizing.
Very good.
I do have one question. Is there any way we could get equipment, like any equipment that we may need, within reason, of course?
We are efforting that as we speak.
Okay.
Will exfil be to Taiwan then?
Exfil is going to be out of Rishiri. So what we are looking at without having a proper briefing is we will be staged in Vladivostok across from the Sea of Japan, which is just northwest of Rishiri.
I've heard of that place. It is within Tharkold, yes?
It's out of the Tharkold Cosm and it's well within core Earth. That's why we'll be staging there.
Very good. So I say we at least take our equipment there.
What we are efforting is to ensure that whomever we can insert inside to assist can secure your equipment, but I can't guarantee that. Rishiri prisons, it's been damn tough to break through its technology to try to get schematics on the prison. Unfortunately, we just haven't been successful in achieving that yet.
I've been hearing you talk about this in a few of the texts as we walk the halls. Is this Japan? Have you had success in other places as far as schematics and researches and breaking into cameras and such, and having no luck in this Japan?
We have some of the best hackers that the planet has ever produced working for the Delphi Council after the invasion. There's just been certain areas that we haven't been able to penetrate.
And this is why you believe something is there.
Something is there. What it is, I don't know. It very well could be that damn corporation over there that just has cutting edge technology that's proprietary and hasn't been released to the rest of the world yet.
Well, I think it doesn't change anything for us. I think we still need to go.
I agree.
I agree, and that's why we're arranging for that right now. In the meantime, hold tight, and I will let all of you know as soon as we're ready to transport.
Well, I suppose I'll keep some of my equipment then.
Jekyll, do you wish to finish our lessons, or do you need time to heal?
You need some first aid. It appears as though you need some first aid.
If we're going to be leaving right now, then I would say probably yes. Yeah, let's definitely do that.
You want first aid then?
Yes, please.
Okay. Here we go. Natural 1.
It's under the mask,
Slap
so you're
on the
not
face.
able to get under it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just can't quite. The mask.
It's just a flesh wound. It'll be okay.
And if not, you'll look more like this. And I again show my chest, just covered in scars and
hair.
tears.
And hair, yeah.
Where it grows through the scars, yep.
With a first aid kit that's favored, would I get to reroll a natural 1 if it's
No.
favored? Not okay.
One's a 1.
One's a 1. Got it.
If it was a 2, absolutely.
Get that 1 out of the way, I guess.
And there's and how long would it take for us to get to Rishiri or the
Vladivostok.
Jones said that. Are you asking Jones?
Yeah.
Was it?
How long?
We don't know if we're going to be flying you to Vladivostok yet. We are efforting the mission parameters as we speak.
Okay, we'll keep, obviously, let us know when we need to be ready.
I will.
I suppose I can continue to... If we have no time frame, then I can continue to train with him.
Give us 20 minutes to clean up, at least a warning of such.
It's probably not going to be today, but absolutely.
Very
So
good.
you'll have time to.
I'll have time to heal. It's okay.
Okay, so how long does it take?
Anybody else doing anything?
Nope. Are we gonna get like appropriate clothing for where we're going? Because I'm wearing Nile clothes, and that's gonna be weird looking.
You have your clothes, right?
Yeah.
From your normal clothes.
Sure.
What would I be wearing? I just wear fatigues normally as Ufa. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Is the plan for us? The plan will be for us to get caught, be prisoners.
You guys haven't been told a plan yet.
Did we already leave the room?
No, not yet.
Is there some plan for us to be captured to enter this prison, or do we need to commit a crime to do so?
We're efforting that.
That's part of the efforting of the plans.
Yes.
All right then.
So how long have you been planning this?
Since Rishiri's been identified and our analysts suggested an infiltration as prisoners, we've started loosely putting together a plan, but it wasn't until you came back and said that Rishiri's going to be your next stops that we're now trying to put that plan into action.
For the staff, going back to that for a second, you said that there is some magic to it.
No,
There's no magic
no
to
magic
it.
at all, according to Azrael.
I couldn't sense any magic coming from it. Although magic detection isn't exactly my.
If you want to take a look at it, by all means.
Is all magic the same?
It is not all the
It
same.
is not all the same. Would you? I'm trying to
Perhaps
think of
it would-
what kind of magic it might maybe.
There are certain magics that are specific to the Nile Empire. I am not an expert by any means on them. It could be that it requires one of those, but I would think that you'd at least be able to detect or feel some kind of
Feel
magic
some
coming
kind of
on
magic.
off the staff.
I've been able to feel magic from other things.
And your bow is magical, is that correct?
Yes, it is. But I would have to be focusing on a certain kind of magic to see, and so that's why I'm trying to think what kind it might be.
So, point of clarification, the bow is not magical in the sense that it's an eternity weapon. So
It's like a whole different thing.
Yes.
I see.
Oh. So it does seem like it might be similar to the staff then.
Not the staff. The shard is an eternity shard,
Mhm.
or at least what's believed. So the bow is an eternity weapon. So it's like an eternity
Well, the
artifact.
staff is made to make use of the eternity shard. So
Yes.
in effect, it's okay. I see what you're saying now. Yes.
But it doesn't have the eternity, like my bow has the red
Well,
and
maybe it
blue
has its own source
infused in
of power, similar to the eternity shards. Maybe it's inert currently and needs some method of activating it as well.
it. The reality check you've already had me do, was that for the staff?
It was not.
Okay.
It's for something different. You were given the stats for the bow, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the effect of the bow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah. So
I got you.
there's nothing hidden.
There's nothing
You
hidden.
are
I
see.
familiar with what the
Okay.
bow does.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I got that wrong then.
For the staff, could I do a reality check on it
Yes, you may.
myself?
I think we all need new dice.
10.
I mean, other than what has already been discussed, you don't feel nothing, don't sense nothing.
I'm not getting any magic feeling from it.
There is absolutely no magical means of like activation whatsoever. So Azrael, you agree with Azrael that there's
Okay.
this staff is zero
It's
magic.
just a staff. A shard was put in and used
But
magically
somehow they're
somewhere.
active. Somehow
Yeah.
we just have to figure out how the Spectre accessed the Eternity Shard. At some point, maybe I could study your bow to see how because it seems to be of a similar power as the shards. If we could figure out how the bow accesses that kind of power, perhaps we could figure out how the Spectre managed to access the power of the Eternity Shard. So, but we could. That's something that can wait, I think.
I think, as I said, I will leave my bow behind for them to study a bit before So I would not like to have it taken from me while I am in this next stage.
So a full day goes by, and no word from Jones, and he hasn't been seen. He didn't leave the base, but hasn't been seen to be able to, like sit down for coffee or in the late break room or anything like that. He's been busy working, trying to get this leg figured out. So after a full day, the next day goes by, and in the morning, he summons you all for a briefing.
I arrive.
We all arrive.
I think we all arrived, yes.
So when you guys all arrive, he's like, make your determination on what you're going to be leaving and what you're going to be taking. We are going to be flying you into Hong Kong, and you'll be meeting Dennis Hida. He is a newly vetted Delphi Council member, and he will conduct the briefing for this portion.
Is this Hong Kong the same as Taiwan? Are they the same place?
No, different locations.
Oh, what happened to the original thought?
What is the original thought?
You said Taiwan.
Taiwan is still going to be the insertion point for the infiltration, but in order to brief, you're going to be briefed at Hong Kong.
Okay. Well, I should be ready in 5 minutes.
So we're going to Hong Kong, where we'll be
First.
briefed further on the mission.
That is correct.
Okay.
Will there be possible equipment there to take?
Yes. So leave what items that you wish to be secured upon your return here.
I didn't really have a whole lot in the first place, but I don't want to lose my reflect armor, so that's staying here.
Mark it on your character sheet.
I'm reluctant to let the scarab necklace go. I'm gonna take it with me, and I guess I'll just take the. If they have equipment there, I take it they're gonna have some 1911s there, or some sort of pistol or something, whatever they got.
Undoubtedly some type of pistol.
Yeah. I suppose you can leave these, sentimental value. You can take care of these, and you can take the M4 as well.
Very well. Your mask.
The mask shall stay with me.
Very well. So anybody that's leaving equipment, make sure you mark it on your character sheet.
I dropped my rucksack. Clonk. Package is ready to move.
So in 30 minutes, be out on the hangar for boarding.
Azrael, is there anything else you require of me?
No, go ahead and board. I'm just trying to make sure.
I'm sitting at the hangar.
Because I know you. When you're like, be sure to mark it on your character sheet. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that sounds suspicious. So I'm like
Right?
looking at my character sheet, like, what is he going to do to me?
I'm doing the same.
Would I do that to you guys?
Yeah, you would.
I'm just rolling in with some brass knuckles. I'm hoping for the best here.
And I've got a bunch of money. I've got gold, and I'm leaving you my money.
Okay.
I don't think
Oh,
I
I
ever
do.
had money. I never jotted down money at all.
I don't know what
I
realm
leave-
it's from,
yes.
but I have money.
I am leaving you 470 gold.
Seemed like you guys got gold out of Isle, isn't it?
That would make the most sense.
My
That would
character
make
sheet
a
doesn't
fantasy.
say.
Yeah.
It just says
We-
380 gold.
I think that's probably from our starting gold, because I didn't spend all of my starting gold.
Neither did I.
No, is there?
I didn't even look at starting money, so
Is there any inflation between the realms, like the gold and Isle? When you bring it to core Earth, they're like, "Holy crap! Look at all this gold! It's straight up Spanish doubloons. Like this must be. It belongs in a museum. You know? I mean,
Or would it like become useless? Like I bring gold from the Isle into.
Does it transform? Does like a gold piece transform
Right.
into like a 20
A
or
dollar
something?
bill?
Yeah.
that's a terrible exchange rate.
So for Ords, yes, gold, could potentially transform to the
Whatever
currency
the current
within,
currency is
right.
when that cosm.
But the Delphi Council actually does have their own internal exchange rates
crypto.
Bitcoin
for like
only.
cyber papacy. Absolutely, yeah.
We started with 1,000 gold.
Yeah,
Okay.
I used
Oh.
all of that. Yeah.
I have 380 left or
I
whatever.
have no clue.
I had 470. It's like
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah,
I,
it was
Max
like
wouldn't have worried about it.
it would have been to like buy weapons and stuff like that. So
I suppose I'm going to take the grenades with me that I had left over. I have 2 of them left.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I'll keep my binoculars.
I gave you stuff.
I'll keep the rest of my kit, which I have lost my sunglasses, my flashlight, and my lighter because someone didn't give it back to me.
nobody ever gives you back your lighter.
Yeah.
You'll see at some point because the only thing I have are the clothes I have and that Zippo lighter.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and take a gizmo kit and 3 Eternium shards. that I use to power gizmos. Because those refresh at the beginning of every adventure. So if I lose them, it's no big deal.
I also had a power dagger that I'm going to leave behind. I've never used it.
All right.
Doesn't matter.
I'm bringing my dagger for that same reason. I'm bringing it for that same reason because I've used it like twice. So if I lose it, I lose it, and I'm sure that I could get another one from the Delphi Council.
Max, are you bringing that dagger?
Nice try. No, it's in the bag.
Okay.
I'm getting nervous because I'm seeing everybody else. Do you guys all have your weapons still? Like,
Well,
You just
I
use your
cast.
lightning, yeah.
I don't need one.
you have your blades that come out your hands,
Right.
And
I'm keeping a compound bow that I've gotten from the Delphi Council. So again, I think if I lose it, I'm sure that the Delphi Council will replace it for me. I'm just leaving my bow behind, my fancy bow.
What I'm thinking is, if it's a need for a gun, somebody will have one near me.
Even if we
Beyond
kill the
that,
person.
I am the weapon.
Perhaps I'll take my pistols with me then. I just don't. That way I can at least share one if I need to. They're 1911s. They're not hard to come by. They're just sentimental because they are custom carved. So I really hope they don't go anywhere.
Jones kind of shrugs. He's like, I wish I can guarantee, but I can't offer any for this particular operation.
That's acceptable. As long as you have, you're gonna take my other rifle as well. So you'll have my M4 and my rifle. I'll just take the pistols with me, and the brass knuckles, along with the rest of my kit, and hope to God I don't lose anything.
Your choice.
It is. I'm sure I'll regret it later.
Ufa, have you been to prison? As I look him up and down, kind of wonder in my head, probably not, but...
No. He doesn't. He's definitely not. He's not a hard-looking guy.
may I warn you that were we to simply walk out the front door here and into the prison, you would be stripped of everything. Depending on the protocols, you would be bathed nicely or not, and you would get nothing back. So consider anything that you have may go away forever.
Unfortunately, without these particular items, these are the necessary items for me to have.
I understand.
They're not easily replaceable, but they are replaceable. So whatever I lose in this endeavor is something that I would hope, and I look to Jones, will be replaced due to lack of compensation so far.
Any personal equipment that is lost during operation will be compensated for, assuming you come back alive, of course.
Yeah, of course, yes. Yeah, I would not expect you to compensate them my losses if I don't come back. But if anybody's going to get the M4, then I say Max probably should get it.
Thank you.
You're giving
Sure.
your will?
My last will and testament is
Max gets the M4.
Jones
and
is like,
200 rounds.
sure.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
He's like,
Thank
we've
you
got
for
like
accommodating.
40 of those back there.
Are you ready then?
I'm ready.
Yes.
Farewell. And he nods.
So from Tripoli, are we helicopter or are we plane? Or are we
Plane.
boat?
So,
Everybody get ready to crash.
Oh no, I'm going to the cockpit. I don't know if it's going to help, but
so what you guys go out to is basically just a cargo plane. And
Even
it's-
better, let's crash harder.
it's just a little bit heavier.
With more space to be thrown around in.
Anyway,
And tells you it's about a 10-hour flight from Libya to Hong Kong.
I'm going to ask if I, as a fellow pilot, if I can go into the cockpit and just kind of see what has changed from 1930s to now, essentially, in technology.
Ufa, wouldn't time be better spent back here learning more moves?
Perhaps both. We have a 10-hour flight. Yeah. my only concern is I want to go there fresh. I want to get there fresh. so-
Understood.
Roll persuasion.
Okay. I have one ad in that. Here we go. No, that's just definitely not going to work.
He's just like, it'd be best if you sit down back there.
You're probably right. Hey, Max, do you want to work on some moves?
you see all like the space age looking tech compared
Yeah,
to your
like-
technology. Go, nah.
Nah, there's a lot of lights and buttons. I'm used to a key and one pull thing, and then that's it.
And plus, you get the idea. For whatever reason, this guy just kind of took a dislike to you almost immediately.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a very fair point. Sometimes Ufa can be very unlikable.
He comes out, he brings out stuff for everyone, gets to you, is like, huh, ran out, sorry.
So my
So?
in-flight dinner was suspended. Guess I'm going there stymied and fatigued. Anyway. Anyway, sorry.
That's okay. So, yeah, it is morning, and by the time that you guys end up flying across, unless there's anything that somebody does in flight, it's about a 10-hour flight, and you start making your descent into Hong Kong around 8 p.m.
And this is where we're meeting Dennis.
Correct.
Is he meeting us at the airport, or are we supposed to go somewhere else?
Didn't say.
Oh, because we didn't ask.
Didn't ask.
Oh,
Great.
should we, be at the
I like the way
airport with
this
one of
plan
those
works.
signs, Dennis?
Yeah.
Dennis.
It says Delphi Council. Oh, dang it! You're supposed to be.
I
So-
feel like so far people have met us where we've landed each time, except for the Living Lands, of course.
Because we crashed.
So as you guys are flying in and start your descent, when you look out, you can see that Hong Kong still looks like a major metropolitan city. So the skyline seems to be intact. As you get in closer, you see traffic just abounds, and it doesn't look like it's been ravaged by the contagion that you guys heard about or any of the outbreaks that you guys heard about.
Have we heard about them?
You've heard of, yeah. So especially as it's been around the Libyan base there that you guys are making your way over into the Pan-Pacific Alliance, everyone's always saying, just be careful, be careful. And it's been all over the news. So, but, I mean, Hong Kong looks like it's still a major metropolitan city. From what you can see, kind of untouched by any of the wars or any of the tragedies that's been occurring in the Pan-Pacific region.
And it's still core Earth then.
What's that?
It's still core Earth.
It feels like it.
Okay.
We haven't felt a change.
Haven't felt a change.
Okay.
So, and like when you guys have flew before, when you came out from high altitude and entered in, you felt the reality storms as you travel through.
And then crashed.
It promptly crashed.
But haven't felt that here coming into Hong Kong.
I look at these places we go, and someday I would like my land to be like this. People happy, caring about nothing, worrying about nothing, and just simply living.
And I'm looking out the window, looking at them, looking through into the city, going, "Oh, they have worries."
Do you think? I mean, without having to worry for food, travel, shelter, a demon taking you in the night.
Short of the demon, they have plenty of worries. All those worries are still valid down there on the ground. Then you have
There's
the added
so much
benefits.
space to live. I mean, shelter can't be an issue.
It still very well can be.
How? I mean, there's so many buildings. Everything's intact. Nothing is blown open or...
The shelters require money to live in them, and not everybody has the kind of money. So there's a lot of people that don't have shelter. Same thing with food. It costs money. Transportation costs money.
Why don't they revolt or simply steal it if there's no way for them to acquire it?
Some do, but then they go into prison.
Maybe that's how we get into the Rishiri prison.
Start a revolt.
Or steal something.
Depends on who's running the place. In my experience, it's either instant death or prison. So,
As you guys land, you're being a cargo plane. You're not going to the regular passenger terminals. You're going over to some of the warehouse hangars that are on the outskirts of the airport in Hong Kong. And as you pull into one, you see familiar two sets of black SUVs.
nice.
And when you guys pull into the hangar and disembark, the doors open up and there's a driver in each, and they kind of come forward reaching into jacket pockets, and they produce Delphi Council badges and identification, and the one says, "We've been assigned to transport you to your briefing."
I shall go in the lead car. I think we should at least split up.
I agree.
Yeah, I'll go in the lead car with you.
And so, very well, please. Who's in which vehicle?
Lead,
Okay.
me and Max.
And then the three of you in
Sure.
the secondary vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I look at their IDs more?
Absolutely.
That was different. I guess I don't know what I would be looking for, but what are their
Especially
names?
Iara.
Right?
Like it's like in pencil and it says Delphi Council, right? A stick figure.
Looks good.
Interesting artist. But here you go.
Looks just like you.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen, especially being part of Delphi, you actually have a Delphi identification. It was given to you when you guys went into Russia because Volkov still accepts Delphi IDs. So you have one,
Okay.
and it looks like yours.
Okay.
I'm suspicious of you, so I
I
agree
am
with
too.
her.
Yeah.
Guys,
What has he ever done?
I wonder.
Something feels off. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Ever since you told us to mark everything down on our character sheet, I'm like, when's it
So
gonna happen?
on the drive over, or is there just a driver with us?
yes.
Would you tell us more about the contagion? We were forewarned a little bit in Tripoli, but we have not really been updated on what is the contagion.
He says, what do you want to know about it?
I know nothing. Assume that I have never heard of it.
Well, a little over a year ago, the goddamn thing broke out and everybody turned into frickin' zombies.
Zombies, as in people coming back from the dead?
Yeah, and then biting and killing people, and then them rising as more zombies. Straight Romero.
That's a sickness, Romero?
Jesus Christ, where are you from?
Darkhold.
He's from Thargold.
Oh,
I'm from the Nile Empire.
oh Christ. Before the invasion, zombie movies were very popular based off of a director who made the first one. His name was Romero. So credit the zombie craze to that.
Oh, okay.
And then the damn things happened.
And why are they called zombies and not Romero's? If he created them?
It's entertainment. Ask an intelligent question.
It's just what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
You can tell that he's getting irritated by that.
The conversation is not appealing to him.
And this contagion, why don't they simply kill the zombies?
They do. So that's what Kanawa has been so damned effective at.
Kanawa.
Kanawa's
the
been-
corporation?
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about this Kanawa? I don't think I've heard very much about it.
I mean, they're a megacorp. They got their hands on all kinds of stuff.
Oh, so it just produce all kinds of stuff. Airplanes, tanks?
Sure.
How do they handle the zombies and the contagions with
Blow them to
drugs?
shit.
Very good.
That you know very well.
So there's no special. Is there like a special way to kill these, to stop these things, or?
Shoot them until they stop moving.
Okay. So
Have
just-
you yourself done battle with these zombies?
No, I was brought in afterwards from Delphi.
How long have you been here?
6 months.
6 months. And in that time, have you seen a zombie?
Not here in Hong Kong.
The contagion is not here?
Hasn't touched Hong Kong. Oddly, Kanawa doesn't even have an office here in Hong Kong either.
Interesting.
Why is that? I'm not in the car.
Interesting. So they still operate here.
Probably.
Yeah.
I saw their markings in the plane that we rode in the Nile Empire when we were there.
Okay. That's the.
Oh, it
extent
wasn't
of
a
my
plane.
knowledge.
I'm sorry. In the Zeppelin when
Yeah.
we were there.
That's the
The
extent.
driver's
Of my knowledge.
that's the driver's face looking confused as hell listening to you.
Sorry, we're reminiscing.
It's a stylized K. Yes, this Kanawa, a stylized K.
The symbol that they use.
I guess you can call it stylized. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a,
So
it's
I've
a
seen
logo.
it there. It's odd that they wouldn't be here.
Who's in the passenger seat? Are you sitting in the passenger seat?
I would think I'd be in the
Okay.
front.
Can you check the glove box?
Uh,
Just open the glove box for me.
I look at the driver and then reach for it and open the glove box.
Are there gloves in there?
No.
Oh, that's surprising to me.
There's a flashlight. There is the manual. There is like a Burger King wrapper.
Small Glock.
McDonald's napkins.
Yeah, nice. Is there a K anywhere?
I mean, not from what you can see.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Thank you, Matt.
Do you didn't need anything?
No, I think we're good.
Clunk. Shut it.
Actually, while you're in there, can you give me that gum?
Yeah. Open it back up. Grab it. Hand it to him.
Thank you.
Put it back in. Clunk. Shut
Help
it
yourself if
again.
you want.
I appreciate that.
No, really, help yourself.
I look at him weird, but I'll take a piece, unwrap it, hand it back to Ufa.
Yeah.
As you notice, because when he was talking to you, he's kind of leaning like this when he was leaning away, and he's like, "All right."
So these zombies, do they come in like hordes? Like they? Come
He
in-
hasn't seen them. He doesn't know.
Oh, never mind then. In your experience, I mean, or have you heard?
He hasn't
how they-
experienced them.
And have you heard of them? Going in like hordes, or is it like one and then maybe there's two?
Fuck, dude, I don't know. Watch Walking Dead when you're in your room tonight.
What's that?
What is that?
It's a TV show.
You mean the moving pictures?
You're not Niall. It's like a movie that they talk, not silent.
Oh, they have sound? I look to Max.
I have no idea. I've only experienced it here.
I suppose we can... tell you what, when we get to wherever, we'll figure it out from there. We'll probably have to ask the person at the front desk to set it up for us. It's usually a pretty big affair. They get the projector out and all this stuff, so...
Is it just when you're searching, type in XXX. And
Okay, yeah, if that's how you get to the Walking Dead, like you said.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no problem. All right, perfect. I'll see if the person at the front desk can do that for us.
ask.
I will.
Very good. He seems quite pleased with himself. In your guys' rig, anything going on?
Are you Dennis?
No.
So is the other guy, Dennis.
No.
Where's Dennis?
Back at the safe house?
Is that where we're going?
Yes.
What's your name?
Richard?
Richard.
Are you from here?
No.
Where are you from?
Why am I being interrogated? I'm just assigned to pick you guys up.
I'm just making. I think they call it small talk.
That's not small talk. You're interrogating me. Small talk is, how's the kids? You know, what do you think about the 49ers this year? You're interrogating
Why
me.
would asking where you're from be less intrusive than asking about your children?
Do you
Because
have
asking about kids is small talk, not asking where I'm from. Unless it's in, like, conversation. So, like, where do you come from? Oh, I come from Texas. Well, how's Texas? Texas is fine. But that's not what this is. You guys are... Jesus Christ, why do you treat me this way?
How are your children, Richard?
He's like, I don't have any.
How's your wife?
Dead.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Recent?
Thank you.
What are the 49ers?
Football team. No.
Football. I think I heard that. So are you from America?
Yes. Can we listen to music? And he turned on the stereo.
Two
What
really
music turns
uncomfortable
on?
car rides.
You get the feeling these are not assets. They're just...
They're like, we're just here to drive you. Leave me alone.
Yes. They've never had a team ask so many damn questions before.
You've got like an elf, a Nile person, and like a cyber witch just do.
They're used to...
Different cosm people.
Yeah, they're used to the people from the cosms, but doesn't make them comfortable with them. So you can see he's just
They're realmists.
just leaning, just leaning against the side like this, kind of covering his mouth as he's driving one-handed.
What song is this?
It's the Bee Gees, and he turns up the volume.
I don't know this one.
Well, it's better when you don't talk and listen to it. And it turns up a little bit more.
Point taken.
I don't think he wants to talk to us.
No, I don't think so either.
These looks are just kind of shaking his head as he's driving. His lips are kind of moving, but he's not saying anything.
I need to work on my small talk.
I don't understand these guys.
Me either.
Rolls down the window a little bit, gets some fresh air.
I'm just gonna be silent the rest of the trip
Yeah.
until we get there.
It doesn't take long, maybe about like 30, 35 minutes within traffic. And basically, he's actually leading you into outside, not really going into Hong Kong proper from the airport, but more just kind of a suburb butting up right next to it before you get into the major downtown city. And you find yourself going through just neighborhood streets, not the big, tall, the... What do you call it?
Arcology?
No. What?
Skyscrapers?
No, like, gosh darn it, I'm having a brain fart.
Downtown.
Billboards.
No, when...
No, not that one either.
You bought, like, not apartments, but you actually own
Condos?
Condos. So it's not like a series of condominiums. It's actually houses that he's
Like
leading you
row
to.
houses?
Mm-hmm. So just like, track housing neighborhoods.
Interesting.
And they end up pulling into one. They hit the button on the visor, and the garage door, nice double door garage, kind of opens up, and both vehicles pull in. Sorry, so rude.
It's okay. Is Dennis inside?
Yes.
I will go see Dennis.
We're still
That's
new
good.
to this area also, so it's okay.
I'm just not used to it yet, so I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'll pat him.
I was thinking the same thing.
Thanks.
I'm sorry about your wife.
Thanks.
I just get out of the car and wait for Azrael.
Thank you for driving. We got here safe. That's good. And then I get out.
Weirdos.
I am grateful we did not crash.
Or get ambushed.
Or get lost in a forest.
Yeah, that's happened.
So when you guys go in, you go in through the kitchen, and it's a pretty big kitchen. So I mean, it's like 3-bedroom house, nice neighborhood. And sitting at the kitchen table are 2 men. The 3 of you, go ahead and roll me mind.
Which 3?
The ones
Shan,
who've been in
Victoria.
since the beginning. 10.
10.
7.
7. So you guys see one of the guys about 5'7", flat top haircut, Asian descent, and is giving you a smile, and you recognize Tony Lee from Juliet Company, where they went to Tharkold with.
Nice. I was wondering if we were going to end up meeting with the... I'll say it. I was wondering if we were going to see one of you guys.
It appears so. So you're not rid of us yet.
Well, I'm glad.
I'm glad to see you guys survived.
You as well.
Yeah, it was kind of hairy there for a while.
We've had some hairy moments as well.
Well,
And some scaly ones. And some dusty ones.
I've seen some of the briefings. It appears that we're going to be working this one together.
Good.
I feel more comfortable.
Someone we trusted. No.
So
The whole team or just you?
Just me right now.
Good.
Well, I'll turn it over to Dennis. Might as well start this briefing immediately. So Dennis is a tall, like 6'2", but a very gaunt face. He is mid-40s, but just kind of work stress has taken a toll on him. Gaunt features, more salt in his hair than pepper. Clean shaven. You can see that he's clearly of Asian descent, but when he speaks perfect English without a hint of an accent.
American English, or when you say perfect English, are we talking proper English?
Proper English.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so, like, he was schooled in
Oxford.
proper English. Yes. And so he sits and he says, I'm glad to see that you do know each other. It's easier for teammates to work amongst each other when there's already pre-established camaraderie. Like, I am Dennis Hida. I am newly acquired by the Delphi Council as a liaison. I am here from the Public Security Examination Commission. I worked there as a magistrate before I sought asylum and defected to the Delphi Council, where they granted me my petition of asylum. Quite simply, I was tired of the influence that Kanawa has had on the Japanese government.
You're talking about the corporation?
Yes, I am.
Why would a company have influence on a government?
How familiar are you with the history of the formation of the Pan-Pacific Alliance?
Truly not at all. Any of you?
None.
No.
Little over a year ago, there was a contagion that broke out in Tokyo, Japan.
We've heard about that. Zombies, apparently. Zombies.
Roberts's?
Romero's.
Yeah.
But apparently that name didn't stick.
So the name that did stick was Shang-Chi, Chinese for the literal translation of jumping vampire.
I thought these were zombies.
The name Zhongxi is the one that has stuck, not the American moniker of zombie.
So it's a vampire. Many of the demons are vampiric.
As far as we know, we have not seen any vampiric trait. The Shang-Chi is Chinese folklore, but when they made their emergence, the populace dubbed them that. It stuck.
So these zombies, well, these Zhongxi, they leap,
Yes.
but they don't vampire.
They don't draw blood, drink
Okay.
blood.
They don't drink or consume blood, but they do consume flesh.
Is there somebody making them?
Pretty close.
Zombies? I can make zombies.
Can you unmake them?
I can't. You gotta kill them.
How, well, again,
And that's what our driver had told us as well. You would have to kill them, just blow them to bits, I believe he said.
Yeah.
The formation of these zombies are biological in nature and not necromantic.
Where did this start?
I wonder if I could make a zombie out of a zombie.
We believe, or at least the running theory, is that it was a forerunner during the invasion of one of the invading cosms to perhaps weaken this area. but we don't know the origin of this particular virus or mutation.
So you're thinking another or a hidden Cosm has come here and is fighting with whoever's here now?
The Delphi Council seems to believe that there has been a secret invasion, but thus far we have no evidence proving it. Without any type of corroboration, the working theory must then be that it is the work of one of the additional Cosms, perhaps Aurorsh. We thought Eilish, since the undead nature, but as I said before, this has been determined to be biological and not necromantic.
Biological, any component with nanites, cyber tech, any of that sort, occult tech. It could be a Tharkold invasion.
We don't believe so, since the lack of occult tech in it. We believe it to be viral, possibly from the cyber papacy, since they have the technological ability to cause a contagion within a populace.
And this Kanawa Corps, they're at the forefront of stopping it?
Kanawa was a corporation that was, well, really unknown before the invasion. They came in with a strong security presence and were able to actually thwart the transgression of the virus and help restore order. And
By destruction?
repeat yourself?
By destruction. You said they were able to halt it.
By
They were able to cure it?
overwhelming lethal force.
Okay, destruction.
How is the contagion spread?
Yeah.
From what we can tell, once a contagion has appeared through bite, through blood, through saliva, what we cannot or have not been able to determine is what causes the initial outbreak.
What's the infection rate? If you're bitten, does 100% of the people bitten turn?
No, not 100% bitten. We've noticed that some people have been able to fend off with whatever natural antibodies that they have. We do know that Kanawa is working with those individuals that have survived the bite to determine and isolate those antibodies, but we do estimate a 90% rate of infection if bitten. The incubation period once bitten is anywhere from 12 to 24 hours later.
Do we know, did we already ask where exactly this outbreak started? What is the epicenter?
Tokyo appears to be ground zero of the contagion.
In Tokyo, this is a small village on the north?
No, quite the opposite. Tokyo is the capital city of Japan.
How far is Tokyo now? Are they completely overwhelmed?
Tokyo was initially overrun. I was there at PSEC headquarters on day one. We survived by barricading ourselves into the PSEC security complex for approximately 7 days before Kanawa forces were able to successfully rescue us.
Is the city still used?
The city, with the help of Kanawa's engineers, are beginning to rebuild. There's still small pockets of contagion that pop up, but those are quickly and effectively put down by Kanawa forces. However, as I said, those forces seem to have integrated with government services to a point where I didn't feel like working for a corporation and wanted to maintain my allegiance to my country, not a business.
And your country is Hong Kong?
My country is Japan.
Japan. Okay. And Rishiri itself, the contagion made it there? Well, we know it as an island, so the contagion was able to cross water?
As far as we know, Rishiri has been free of any outbreak of the contagion. And yes, the contagion actually did spread within that day across borders. Korea was hit particularly hard. Taiwan was decimated, and
That's where we were going to go originally.
that is where you will be going.
Right into the heart of a contagion zone that was a complete loss?
That is correct.
We're being sent straight into the thick of an outbreak.
That is correct.
I'm uncertain how
What
that's
is the
going to get us
reasoning?
into...
What is the reasoning behind that?
In order to be able to understand the reasoning, one must first understand what the nature of Rishiri prison is. Rishiri Prison is a brand new facility that has been open only about 5 weeks and is currently being populated. The best that we can tell, the population of Rishiri Prison is political dissidents and domestic terrorists. Now, an interesting byproduct of Kanawa's influence is not just one element, but all of the criminal elements present in Southeast Asia seem to have made an alliance with themselves, and they have been making and waging war against Kanawa. The Yakuza, the Kangpai out of Korea, the Chinese triads have all allied against Kanawa.
These are all groups of people?
These are all organized criminal elements.
Do you know why they're doing this?
The Russian Bratva would be the closest comparison.
I'm uncertain if Kanawa is controlling the contagion, as it were, why they would fight against them.
That we are not entirely sure of. But what I do know is those individuals that are making political moves or politically challenging Kanawa have been arrested, and those with major influence have been sent recently to Rishiri. Since then, they have been transporting members of the organized crime that have been previously arrested. I know this, and in full disclosure, my younger brother is a daimyo of the Yakuza, and he is actually imprisoned in Rishiri.
This is a leader? Daimyo?
Yes. And as a matter of fact, he is going to be one of your contacts inside to be able to help assist you in what you need inside Rishiri. His name is Tokashi Hida. So that is the nature of what Rishiri Prison is. Now, the Pan-Pacific Alliance has been the countries banding together in an alliance that has not been conducted before, and quite honestly, they seem to be faring very well, at least the countries that have accepted an invitation to join the alliance. Taiwan has not until recently. Since then, Kanawa security forces have actually entered Taipei, secured the airfield there to be able to bring in additional forces to stop or at least halt the contagion that's present on the island.
I'm confused. I thought you said that these Pan-Pacificas were getting together to fight Kanawa and the...
The criminal organizations have banded together to fight Kanawa, but the countries themselves are a member of the Pan-Pacific Alliance.
And they work with Kanawa.
They are working very closely with Kanawa, that is correct.
It sounds like, from what you've said to me, Kanawa is only offering assistance to countries ravaged by the outbreak if they join this alliance. They're not offering their help out of the, some kind of... just when you aid another country in a disaster, I'm suspicious that they're behind it.
It would appear so. Behind what?
The outbreak.
That was my thought as well. As you laid out the plan, many times the demons have done this. Brought something that was supposed to be good, on the simplest level, meat. And that meat was poisonous and killed a group that was working against the demons. So if you infect, and then you are the cure for the infection.
It's possible then that this particular contagion might be of Tharkoldu origin, but as I said before, we have not found any indicators of occult tech that's within the
I was
virus.
more suggesting Kanawa potentially created the contagion to then contain it, to then get control.
Possibly, but one must also consider that the method of operation that you described is Tharkoldu of origin.
Well, it's certainly how gangs operate. They send someone in to bust your shop up, and then they come by and ask for insurance money. And when they you give them the insurance money, your shop doesn't get busted up.
Possibly. It doesn't seem that a racketeering effort for the entire region would be...
It's an effective way of keeping people in line.
Possibly. At this point, we don't know, so... Which leads me to what your secondary objective is going to be, is gather as much intelligence as you can while you're inside Rishiri and report back to the Delphi Council.
Your brother
Tokashi.
Why is he there specifically? What was the reasoning?
The daimyo is a historic term for the leader of a clan.
Yes.
So he is the leader of Tokyo's Yakuza chapter.
Okay. And so they just, under that metric, put him in there.
When the Yakuza started to fight back and wage its private war against Kanawa, he was one of the ones arrested.
This prison, is there anything you can tell us about it? How you get in, like what's the processes in which you...
We have some satellite imagery of the prison itself, but we haven't been able to penetrate further or get any of our computer experts to look at a logistical blueprint of the prison. What we have is an overview and then the best assumption that we can put together from what imagery we've been able to capture. So it pulls this out. So at this point, what it appears to be is the outside wall is about a 15-foot stone wall with 10 feet of open ground. There are 5 structures, and the 2 up front, this is the entrance gate, appear to be the blocks of where they put in the political dissidents, at least in quad block 1. There's a gate entrance here, and it appears that once the prisoners are transported, they come into this building for processing. These next buildings down here on the south end of the facility appear to be cell blocks, and we're basing that off of the exercise yard that's in between, and there does appear to be a garden on either side that works. That is a working garden and operated by inmates.
What are they growing?
The only thing that we can tell that they're growing appears to be a bunch of lettuce.
Huh.
And then these structures here are guard towers with sniper posts.
Is one of the objectives you expect for us to get your brother out?
My brother has made his choice, and I doubt he would leave if given the opportunity. However, if that is your decision, that is your decision. But do not let it jeopardize your primary objective of recovering the Breifne shard or your secondary objective of gathering intelligence.
And we know the Breifne shard is within this prison?
I can't answer that. All I can do is provide the plan that we put together based off of Director Sebastian's requests, and I'm assuming that his knowledge supersedes mine.
So how do we get in?
Tony steps in at that point. He says, well, that's my part. What we've been able to determine is in about 6 days, there's going to be a transport from Taipei of the arrests there that have been made since Kanawa has started their humanitarian efforts in Taiwan. Our goal is to take a yacht, a small yacht. I wish we could take something larger, but we will be entering into the Sea of Japan, and it seems as if the Japanese have surpassed our abilities for detection, and their radar is damned good. So we're hoping a small watercraft will get us there. We will go around the southern end of the island, come up the eastern shore, and insert into Taipei from the former port, and make our way on foot. And the goal is to insert you as prisoners with this flight. I myself will be accompanying you, and I've been able to replicate the guard uniforms of the Rishiri Guard. So my goal is to make sure that you're alive and accompany you to the prison.
How are you getting out, Tony?
I'm going with you.
As a guard?
As a guard.
Is that wise?
That's what I've been assigned.
Now, would they not bat an eye at one guard transporting 5 prisoners?
Yeah, at some point we're going to have to look at the scenario and improvise a little bit.
We can hide in plain sight. We end up in the general population of the prison or even of a transport. The only reason we would stand out is if everyone looks like, I apologize, you two.
Well, that's one of the benefits of this effort. This is the first batch that's being transported out of Taipei, and We do know that after the contagion, Taipei was a large area, so there's going to be people of different nationalities and origins amidst the prisoners.
And Taipei is still ground zero for all these zombies, these Jiangxi, right?
Taiwan, the island, definitely is. We're counting on the efficiency of Kanawa security forces to secure the airfield and most of the city.
I was told to watch the show. All right, was it The Walking Dead or XXX?
It was the Triple X, he said.
Okay,
we
so-
would like to see a Triple X show.
Yeah, so if you have the projector or something, that's something that the driver told us to watch to get you to understand what the zombies were.
And I'm turning beet red because I wasn't in this car, so, so I'm going.
Yeah. What? That's what he told me.
You can watch that in the privacy of your room.
Is it? I was.
Your room will have. I'll join you.
Yeah.
It's explicit, adult-rated content.
Oh, so
I would assume anything wouldn't be for children,
Yeah.
tearing apart zombies and their
they're
creation.
like biting them and
right,
You know.
biting, potentially sucking.
There
sounded
is sucking.
terrible.
It's just not that kind of sucking.
Well,
What?
They're vampires.
Yeah,
That's
what
what
they
we've
do.
been told.
Yeah.
Make sure you bring your Kleenex with you.
Are we expecting
is
it to
it
be
a-
sad?
I don't know.
I mean, it can be sad.
If some people are into that kind of thing, then sure.
Tony's just kind of smirking as this conversation's going on.
But is there anything we can? I have a feeling.
I'm just gonna like face palm and be like,
I
do whatever you want on your own time.
Well, I
This is
figured
one
this
of
would
those
pertain to the
situations.
missions. So,
Tony, maybe you should join us.
No,
on
this one's all you guys.
Is there something we should watch to understand?
Is
the
there a
concept of
specific
Jiangxi?
one you would recommend?
The good, the bad, the horny.
Odd name.
Odd names, yeah. I mean, this is a zombie movie, right? There's zombies in
Do the
it.
zombies have horns?
I haven't seen any. On Golden Blonde.
I
don't even understand
I
how
don't
that would
understand
pertain
that either.
to.
Do some zombies have blonde hair?
They would have to. I mean, if it infects across the entire community,
It would be, yeah. It's a
we need
potential,
to
yeah.
explore this Triple X show.
Yeah.
Backdoor hussies?
Do they come in the back doors exclusively? Why do we call
They
them?
may. They certainly may.
I think there's going to be a lot for us to watch.
Must be a lot.
Dennis does not crack a smile at all during this conversation, but Tony's having a good time.
So you would suggest that for us to better understand what zombies are?
No, I wouldn't.
Absolutely not.
What? That's what I was told.
I'm confused.
Have
Alright,
you heard
so-
of what a joke is?
I mean, yeah.
No.
That suggestion to watch a Triple X show was a joke,
Oh.
and your lack of understanding
I still don't understand.
misled you.
So
I think
it's,
this is one of those things because we're not. used to
It was,
awesome.
you were
Yes.
the victim of a prank.
That I understand.
Okay, so not Triple X. So then,
What show should we watch
should we
for
watch to
understanding?
better understand the Jiangxi?
He was speaking of a Romero.
Yeah, a Romero.
We're not going to have time to watch any shows.
We have 6 days until the transport gets there.
We're going to be traveling by boat. It's going to be about 6 days.
Well, is there a way for us to bring a projector with us? I don't know.
No.
Never mind.
Small boat.
Okay. That's unfortunate.
Actually, it's not. It's. Trust me. So, at the point before we land, you are going to change your clothes and get into prisoner oranges, and I will don the uniform. And again, the hope is to Lady Luck watch us, watch over us, to be able to infiltrate in with the rest of the prisoners for this transport.
Did you say
I-
Lady Luck?
Yeah.
Who's that? Is she here?
It's an Earth saying.
Oh, it's one of those.
So when we get to the prison, is it possible for us to hide like an article or like an item? Like I want to hide this scarab.
I can't say what their inner workings are going to be. I have no idea what to expect once we get inside.
I would suggest potentially leaving it with Tony. He could keep it on his person, as he would probably not be searched, or at least not be questioned with a piece of over jewelry.
Yeah,
You could pull it under the guise of giving it to your mother, maybe,
that would be
and
perfect.
then get it back to you
Yeah.
at some point where you would still have to keep it well hidden.
Yeah, I desperately need this.
If you desperately need it, then that's going to be your call as an individual.
I mean,
I
you're gonna
wouldn't
be,
part with it if I desperately needed something.
Well, the problem is that they'll take it away. And then I'll never be able to get it back. Whereas if it's on your person, you might actually be able to get it back to me.
I don't know what to expect when I'm in there.
I mean, you're a guard. Don't they generally have special privileges, or did they strip them down too and wash them vigorously?
Hey man, I'm going to be improvising just like you are. I've never worked in Rishiri prison. I've never worked as a Kanawa guard before. I don't know.
All right. Well, then, I mean, I suppose up until that point, maybe I'll hand it off to you. But that's it.
All I can say is I will do whatever I can to protect whatever it is that you give me and help protect you guys.
Thank you. And I'll do the same for you.
So, if there's any other questions...
Nope, that's it.
All right, then it's going to take about another 40 minutes to drive to the port here, where we have Duke Charles waiting. That's the name of our yacht. And I have 2 boat captains there waiting for us to drive.
Have the boat captains been vetted, I take it, or do they understand?
They're Delphi.
Okay, very good.
They're Delphi.
We've learned, Ufa, that once Jones provides, that's what we're utilizing.
Yeah, very good.
All right, so just almost as quickly as you got there, the 2 drivers that drove you to the airport are back in their vehicles, and this time Tony jumps in with Ufa and Max, since the 3 and 3, and you can Tony jumps in the front seat, and you can hear him saying something to the effect of like, "Really, XXX?" And the driver
Like, I did enjoy that prank, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah, it was quite funny.
Did you get to watch it?
No, we didn't have time.
Didn't have time.
That's a pity. Tony's just kind of sitting there, just. So the ride is uneventful, and the Hong Kong port is just on the eastern side of the airport, on the seaboard side. And when you make your way through the docks, leading your way down past the big commercial ships and like the big cargo ships, and get down onto a private dock. So Tony goes and enters in a code to get into the gate, and you guys make your way down to a dock, and very nice private yacht, the Duke Charles, and make your way in. There are 2 boat captains there. They introduce themselves as Rich Brennan and Davy Boy Murphy. They say that they're both from Ireland.
Oh, hello.
It's like before the invasion.
Ah,
So we were on other business.
it's a beautiful country.
It was. So everybody on board?
Yep.
Is everyone ready? Let's just shove off then. And at that point, we'll go ahead and end this episode right here.
All right.
Nice.
Thank you for joining us on another NCRP Productions podcast. We couldn't do this without you, so please like and subscribe everywhere we're found, including YouTube, Facebook, Anchor, Google, Apple, Spotify, and other great podcast sites. If you'd like to help us continue making more content, we'd love to have your support on our Patreon. And we'd like to give a special shout out to our current patrons, our Siegson Employees of the Month, Michael H., Greg K., F.S., and our Breaker of Seals, Frank H., Christopher C., Matthew K. Thank you all. We truly, truly appreciate it. And a very special thanks to our fantastic artist, Jacob Blackmon, who you can reach on his Patreon under his name, or Deviant Art under the name Prodigy Duck.